Hello, I'm Bob the Booker and welcome to my channel. Apologies, I look a little bit like a mess. I'm just getting ready for work, so I've not long been up. But I just wanted to quickly do this just before I head off on my way to work. But essentially, we now have the International Booker Shortlist for this year. And it's an interesting one, let's say. So the long list I thought was a really interesting mix. I'm still reading it at the moment. And so actually I was kind of going to wait to do my predictions until I'd read the entire entire long list rather. And then it's a really tight window between the two coming out, so I hadn't had the chance to fully finish them, especially as there are some big books on that list. But yeah, we now have the shortlist and they are in front of me. Let me just quickly pull this up again. The wonders of technology. So they are Stillborn by Guadalupe Natal, which I'm really, really excited for. I think this is one of my favourites from all the books I've read so far. We have Time Shelter by Georgi Gospodinov, which I also really loved. We have Boulder by Eva Baltazar. Again, massive, massive love for that. And we've got two that I haven't read yet. So Standing Heavy by Goz and Whale by, let me get the name of the author up. And Whale by Chong Myun Kwan. But then we've also, I have to admit, this one is a massive surprise for me. The Gospel According to the New World by Marisa Conde. And that shortlist, there is a lot about it that makes sense to me. So particularly the three that I loved, Stillborn, Time Shelter, and Boulder, I think are exceptional. I think they're really, really great books, and I'm delighted to see them on this list. The other two that I mentioned I haven't read seem really interesting in their own way. Standing Heavy, talking about colonialism and the sort of long-term effects of that. We've got Whale, which just seems to be kind of wonderfully bizarre from what people are saying about it so far. But I have to admit, yeah, my big surprise, unfortunately, is The Gospel According to the New World. I read it and got almost nothing from it, which was awful to say, but I read the first 40 pages, was really interested in where it might go, and thought, okay, this should be good, and then came back to it the next day or the day after, thinking, right, I'm going to carry on picking this up, and just could not get back into it in any real way. So I'm sure there are people out there who do really love it and have got something from it, and clearly the judges have as well. That's one that I found really difficult, and I was going to try and do solo reviews of all the shortlist. I'll see if what I can do for that one, because I don't want to just have a whole review just either laying into it or just sort of being a bit lukewarm to it, because quite frankly there's a lot I can't remember about it. But an interesting list nonetheless. I think for me the really bizarre thing is not seeing The Birthday Party on there by Laurent Morvignier. I was pretty convinced that one was a dead cert. I loved it. I thought The Birthday Party was an incredible, incredible book. And I thought one that would also really hold up to multiple readings, which is normally what separates things out once you go from long list to short list and then to winner, is because the judges read all of the long list again. Part of me wondered if a book like The Birthday Party would do really well on a second reading. I thought the same for Time Shelter, which is why I'm delighted it made the shortlist, but also not that surprised, because I think Time Shelter is so full of really incredible things going on that I think it deserves a second read. And I think on that second read, probably more would come to light. And the same for something like Stillborn, that I think is a really solid book. So currently, from the shortlist that we have, I mean, obviously, all of this aside, and me being surprised that certain people aren't on the shortlist or are on the shortlist, it is a group of 5 people making a decision about some books that they've read, and so they may have all come to that consensus based on things that they've seen in the book that I've not, or they may have really not liked something in a book that I loved. So it happens, right? This is a normal part of the process, but it's just still a little bit there's always this kind of odd horse racing kind of aspect to it of, ultimately it comes down to what those 5 people thought in a room discussing these books. So that happens. But currently, of the 6, I'm probably rooting most for Stillborn. I think this book is exceptional. I think it's really powerfully done. I think it's beautiful. I think it really has a lot to say. I think there's a lot of really great stuff to it. Equally, uh, I'd be quite happy with Time Shelter or Boulder taking it. And obviously I've still yet to read Standing Heavy in Whale, so we shall see from those. But yeah, it is now upon us. I'm going to be carrying on and reading the rest of the shortlist, and then also the rest of the long list, because there are a few on there that I'm really keen to read. So, I mean, for example, I just finished reading Is Mother Dead, which I really enjoyed, and I'm just about to start reading A System So Magnificent It Is Blinding, which I'm also really excited for. So I think with all of those combined, I'm still going to have read the whole long list. There's still a lot to be taken and a lot to be excited about within these books. But yeah, really keen to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Who do you think will win from these 6? Have there been any that you've particularly loved? I'm just intrigued to see what happens next, really, particularly as this long list already was a bit of a curveball for many of us, and now this short list perhaps even more so. So let's see what comes next, and I'm intrigued to hear people's thoughts on them all. Take care and speak to you soon. Bye bye.